Walk us through what a typical interview process looks for you. Obviously, it's going to change based on, the seniority of the role, and things like that. But
With the market, ton of layoffs, right? Ton of Web3 crypto candidates on the market.
That is not about being the biggest, the fastest, or the first. It's about being slow and steady to win the race versus being the fastest. Because again, we sort of see what happens when you try to be the fastest, the biggest, the best. And I think some of those companies aren't with us anymore.
Recruiting-ish. Web3. World-class podcast. Let's get it, let's go. The topics of discussion you cannot get from another. Opportunities in Web3, we got you covered. Metaintro, been dope. Gotta thank you for the love and support that you give it. Keep it coming. We going up in jet speeds, interviews with the crews, making moves, let's see. It's a brand new world of NFTs. Join in Recruiting-ish podcast, yes please. Join in Recruiting-ish podcast, yes please. Metaintro does not give financial advice. Information provided by Metaintro is intended to be used and must be used for informational purposes only. Always do your own research on the companies that you apply to and the opportunities that you invest in.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Recruiting-ish podcast. This is episode 5, doing something a little bit different. We're going to record the podcast from this, but we're also doing a live stream. So if you're coming at us from the Discord, from any of our channels, definitely like, subscribe, engage with us. Want to hear your feedback, want to hear what's going on in the world of Web3. Today, we've got an exciting episode. I'm Alex. I'm your crypto recruiter. I'm here with Brad Larson, the CTO of Metaintro. You know him well. You've seen him around. Here with a very exciting guest, a head of executive recruiting. His name is Rolando from Binance US. So definitely excited to dive in, hear about all the exciting stuff going on with Binance US, from the hiring market, what their plans are for next year, and some of maybe the challenges that they're experiencing. So to jump in with the first question, we've both sourced these, through the network, through the Discord, some from us ourselves that we're curious about. So Rolando, we're excited to hear from you. I guess, with the market, ton of layoffs, right? Ton of Web3 crypto candidates on the market. How's this kind of affected what candidates you're seeing from applicants or referrals? Tell us a little bit about, the candidates that have came to Binance US.
Sure. Firstly, thanks, Alex and Brad, for having me today. There's a lot of activity in the market right now. And we are seeing a lot of former employees or even current employees of companies that have gone through layoffs or have, unfortunately, done worse and ended up filing for bankruptcy. So we're seeing a lot of those names on resumes come through. I guess it's partly to a testament to the fact that we're doing quite well during this downturn, and so it's the silver lining for us is that there is great talent in the marketplace right now. And so, it's good from our standpoint to have a lot to choose from, a great talent to choose from.
yeah, absolutely. Have you seen a change maybe in the levels of the applicants that are coming in? Obviously, probably quantity is always going to change, especially in a market like this. But have you seen maybe a higher ranking or a higher quality of candidates coming in because of these layoffs at some of, other exchanges, obviously other, protocols and, companies that are around the space? Have you seen the quality increase, decrease, in any way, shape or form?
I'm not sure it's specifically about quality. I think we've seen more of specific parts of the business, people from specific parts. You see more people from marketing, from the people organizations, and, less, for example, product engineering. I think when companies do layoffs, those are usually the ones that are first to go, specifically, the cost centers. So people up, recruiting, they're always the ones, unfortunately, that are always going to be cut first, followed by marketing and some other support staff as well, customer support. But in terms of levels, we kind of see them all across the board, from entry level all the way through to executive. So
great. Great. Walk us through what a typical interview process looks for you. Obviously, it's going to probably, I'm going to guess, change based on, the seniority of the role, and things like that. But typically, what can kind of a candidate expect as they go through the stages?
Yeah, it's really nothing out of the ordinary from the usual tech interview process for the most part. You have a recruiter screen, you'll have probably like a hiring manager screen, then maybe 2 to 3 stakeholder interviews, cross-functional interviews. If you're going for a more tech role, it'll be, either it's like a technical interviews, coding challenges, and then a final interview with either the department head, or depending on your level, with Brian, our CEO. So I would say at most the range would be anywhere from 4 to 6 interviews. Sometimes it's got a little bit more. In my space, on the executive side, we tend to go on the higher side, but again, that's not uncommon either. So,
Gotcha. And then for like those interviews that you're having, it's probably a mixture of, the hard and soft skills. Does Binance US look for like any, certain cultural tenets, or, do you guys have specific like mission pillars that you look to identify in candidates coming to the company?
I think the important part, or beyond the basic skill sets for the role that you're applying for, I think what's important for us to be a cultural fit is to have a very customer centric mindset. A very, for us as a company, we are very much customer first. So that's being able to, we understand what our mission is, and that is specifically to serve our customers and be the most compliant exchange in the US. And so it's very much everything that we do, whether it's on the tech side, or even on the BD or sales, or the people side, it's very much a compliance driven approach. We see everything that's happened in the marketplace. We've seen in all the companies that have gone up in smoke because they've had poor risk management, or lax compliance, lax controls. And it's we have the benefit of being able to also learn from their mistakes as well. But we've, from the get-go, been very much a compliance first company. And so for us, it's about serving our customers and putting them first. And so that is really the mindset, the kind of person we want to see as well, is what is that thing that excites them, and why do they want to be in here beyond crypto or anything else. So I think those are some of the aspects of candidates we want to see.
That's great. Do you think that comes out kind of early in the interview where I mean, I think that's a great answer. And as a Binance customer myself, I can tell you, you guys always definitely put us first. It's one of my favorite exchanges out there. Do you see that early in the process, late in the process, where that, candidate has that customer, centric mindset? Where does that kind of come out?
We try to really get that out early. And so, I mean, I can speak for myself, but when I have, that first screen, the conversation with the candidate, it's all about motivations, about sort of understanding their background, sharing more about what we do, what we look for in candidates as well. But, I don't have a terribly structured interview process myself, or approach to my screens. It's more about understanding where they're coming from, sort of where they are in their journey, where they want to take it, versus just needing a job, right? And so I try to weed that out at the very beginning. But at the end of the day, I think all of our interviewers, they know what to look for, whether they do, whether it's a technical interview or not. I think people still understand and can pick up on whether this person has the right sort of frame of mind, or the right motivations to want to be here.
Yeah. Sometimes those are the best interviews, when you're just having a conversation for 30 minutes and you're not really even going down your checklist of questions, and you're like, at the end, you're like, oh my goodness, I hope they felt as good as I did, in it. 'Cause I got all the data that I kind of got, but I didn't maybe ask the standard, questions, if you will. So yeah, maybe with that then, because I know this is a question that we obviously get, especially as an early stage startup. Culture, that's usually one of the first ones that they kind of ask back when I ask if you have any questions. What's the culture like at Metaintro? Give us a glimpse into what the culture is like at Binance US.
Yeah, it's a question that I get asked quite a lot, and I do like getting the question, but my answer is always going to be relatively vague, because for us as a company, I feel that we're very much in a our culture is one that is in process of being kind of solidified, and it's harder to build culture when you're a remote only company. And so we do as much as we can to be able to foster a strong culture, so to speak. But I think ultimately, if you were to sum it up or really try to pinpoint specifically what our culture is, it is really about our mission, right? And I think when you work here, I think that is palpable. It comes down from our leaders during our town hall, during our weekly leadership meetings as well. When we are a very transparent culture. We talk about our wins as much as we talk about our losses. We have highlights and lowlights. And so, Brian, as our CEO, he's very quick to be able to be open about how we are succeeding, but also where we may have maybe had a bad week, or where things may have not gone right. But it's very much about learning from it. And so I think that is something that's sort of been distilled down to the rest of the company as well, where it's okay to make mistakes. But it's about sharing it and learning from it as well. And I think we're all in this space because we're passionate about the industry, about crypto and blockchain technology. But beyond that, it's also about being able to exchange that is not about being the biggest, the fastest, or the first. It's about it's sort of that the tortoise and the hare sort of analogy, right? It's about being slow and steady to win the race versus being the fastest. Because again, we sort of see what happens when you try to be the fastest, the biggest, the best. And I think some of those companies aren't with us anymore. And so that is sort of what we take on board, is that we build something that has a very strong foundation that can sort of stand the test of time, and that is something that I think as a company we're very passionate about. And so we have we know where we're going as a company. We know during these times it is a challenge, and there's a lot of noise out there. There's a lot of FUD going around as well. But for us, it's very much keeping our heads down and just executing on our plans and our roadmap. And so it feels like I went off on a tangent there. But
no, you didn't. It was a beautiful answer. It really is. I like that. You gotta be honest. And as a candidate, and I've been a candidate, you've obviously been a candidate somewhere at a company, you want to hear, honesty, and to say, hey, there's going to be ups and downs, especially in a nascent, blockchain technology world, if you will. And so you gotta share those experiences. It's the only way the team, gets better. And your first one of the culture, it's a little bit scary even for us as I talk to candidates, because they ask what the culture is, and it's like, my answer probably best is like, you're going to be the culture. You're going to have an impact on what that culture is. And for some candidates, that's a little daunting. It might be too much. For others, it's like, oh wow, okay, I get to kind of make an imprint. And I'm sure that's very similar at Binance too, all within the mission that you've kind of set forth. So I thought it was a great answer. Alex, I'll let you take the next one.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, just to wrap that point, I mean, the one thing I've seen as a candidate, looking for a job in crypto, like Binance was well positioned. I think they've stayed very on top of the communication externally to people, just in the market, like you said, with transparency, what's going right, what's going wrong. I mean, to have leaders that you can connect with on Twitter or LinkedIn that engage with the community, I think is huge, and it shows the willingness that they have. So I'm sure as an employee, that's probably echoed. And again, there's a lot of FUD in the world right now. So to have leadership that's there with you, that gives you clear communication and lets you know what to expect and how things are going to be, I think is huge. So that transparency, I know for candidates, shines through. And just like you mentioned, there's other companies that may not do it as well, but they're not getting the bulk of the candidates like you guys are. So it's good to hear you guys are seeing that pan out in terms of kind of applicants. Yes, I mean, as far as like when a candidate gets hired, talk to us maybe a little bit about like some of the benefits. If you can share like comp, I know certain offers have like tokens or stuff like that. I think that's an area where not a lot of candidates maybe know. If you're able to share just any insight on where Binance may stand or stand above, that'd be helpful to hear.
Sure. So for us specifically, with Binance US, we don't offer tokens. I know that our counterpart Binance.com, they offer tokens for their comp packages. For us, it's a little bit more in line with the usual tech sort of comp packages. So we do base and we do equity as well. Equity obviously for us is very important. We are looking to go public in the next 2 to 3 years. And that's been already stated publicly by both Brian and CZ as well. And so equity for us, it's not a pie in the sky. It is very much a real sort of part of the compensation. Other than that, in terms of benefits and perks, I mean, we have comprehensive, health insurance, health, medical and dental, and kind of 401k matching. We have some work from home benefits like annual monthly stipends, and we have also budget to kind of pimp out your home office as well.
Nice.
Most people already have one, so it's like, well, whatever stuff you kind of wanted to hold off.
Add
on
another 3 screens, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what I did. You know what I mean? So,
yeah, for sure.
And then we have we have an annual budget for professional development as well. If you want to take like courses, seminars, trainings, things like that. We're big believers in our employees, continuously bettering themselves, learning more. And we have also, this is common obviously in the tech space, but we have unlimited time off. And then we also have, a pretty fat referral bonus as well for people bringing in their, people in their network as well. So it's nothing sort of out of the ordinary. We are starting to roll out getting part of your paycheck in crypto as well.
Interesting.
And so that's going to be part of it for payroll. But other than that, I would say it's competitive with most of the other tech companies out there.
Okay.
And I think next year, we're continuously thinking about, our head of comp and Ben is continuously thinking about, what else we can add to the mix, what else is important for our employees, and also for prospective candidates as well. And so there's some exciting stuff we'll be rolling out for next year as well.
You definitely have to come back on and announce those things. I like the portion of crypto payments. That's interesting. I don't actually know too many companies that are doing that, especially of your size. So it's pretty interesting. I'm pretty excited for this next question specifically. Obviously, we're Metaintro in individuals that are coming into our Discord. It might be their first foray into Web3 or crypto. They're just learning about the industry. So the question is, can a non-crypto applicant get a junior position at Binance, or how are those treated, or how would you even recommend somebody that's never been in there apply to Binance? Yeah. Is that possible?
Well, the good news is I think most people that actually join us from TradFi or other sort of non-crypto tech companies. I think specifically, if I think about sort of our leadership team, I don't think anybody, including Brian, actually came from crypto.
Wow.
It's interesting, it's a testament of obviously being able to pick something up real quick and just become an expert in it.
Yeah.
But I think you know most of the roles that we have open, there isn't a requirement to know crypto. I think maybe save some of the more technical roles.
Sure.
But beyond that, I think what's important for us is having a passion for crypto,
Hmm.
versus an existing knowledge base of it. And
Hmm.
so, I think one advice I would have for candidates is that if you get asked the question, what do you know about us or what do you know about crypto? And the answer is like, man, nothing really. Then, you probably don't want to be here. You're not going to be really be a fit.
Yeah.
So there needs to be an interest in crypto. And I think, for the most part, the people that I've spoken to, most people have been in this space, at least on a personal capacity, for a couple of years, if not more.
Yeah.
And so, no crypto needed, but passion absolutely needed. So,
I love that answer. That's such a great answer. Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. Like going back to kind of one of the first points about when you screen a candidate, just having a conversation, like you get into the black hole of crypto and you find out about their experience. It may not be working experience, but hearing about the projects they're excited in, hearing that they've done research, right? I'm sure, candidates come and say, I know Binance, I want to work here. They might know more than some of the people there, right? Just because they're so excited. So yeah,
yeah,
it seems like it's translating well to some good candidates in play.
absolutely.
And then in terms of maybe some more of those technical candidates, like I think technical recruiting is tough, right? Like you got to have the hard skills, the soft skills. Like as a technical candidate, um, what are some of the ways that they can stand out? Like obviously, code is code, and you can learn languages. Like, is there anything Binance looks for in some of the technical candidates to just stand out of the kind of crowd?
Um, I think one of the things that we look for in technical candidates is the ability, because to your point, a lot of people can code, a lot of people are very proficient in it. I think being able to do so at speed, be able to iterate, move quick, and for us, our product and tech teams, they are constantly kind of churning out new products and working around the clock to get deadlines or bugs patched and things like that. So I think there is an urgency at which our tech teams work. It doesn't mean that they don't have any work-life balance, but I think when they're on the clock, it's very much you need to be able to work at speed, and have sort of. And I think for us, and this is sort of it rings true to the kind of the broader company as well. But even though we are in a uh, in a crypto winter right now, we very much have this sense of urgency, this sense of mortality, where it's like, yes, we're doing well as a company compared to most of our other peers and competitors out there, but there is a sense of urgency where like now it's the time to basically be able to grind and build, because I'd rather be building and executing in a bear market in a crypto winter than doing so in a raging bull market, when there's you basically like have all that noise amplified to 11. And so right now is when we're basically moving at our fastest, when everything else is quiet. So that's something I would probably, not just for the technical talent, but for everything right now. I think there is definitely a sense of urgency where we feel like now is the time to strike. So
Gotta have that urgency. It's good. It's good to kind of have even hearings like yesterday. I'm not sure if you got a chance to listen to any of it, but like you said, crypto winter or whatnot. Some people are just calling for the death of it, and individuals like ourselves, we kind of laugh at that because we know it's not going anywhere. You could probably take it all away, and we'd still be here, if you will, just because we believe in the technology and DeFi and what it brings to everything. Yeah, I like that. I like that answer. So here's maybe a little bit of a chance for you to chill or whatnot. What's the hardest role for you guys to hire for right now? What are you, maybe out there actively looking for?
So we're always looking to beef up our risk and compliance teams. We're hiring a lot on for the engineering teams and product teams as well. So I think the hardest ones for us, honestly, they continue to be. I think data analytics is always a challenge for us. That's a team we're definitely beefing up on as well. So data science, data engineering, software engineers. I think most companies always struggle with those types of hires. We're no different. There's
Mm-hmm.
no shortage of inbound and interest, but it is always a challenge to be able to find and get candidates that really kind of fit our cultural fit and are very much sort of in sync with sort of the way that we operate and that we are specifically for product and tech. We're mostly a remote only company, but for tech and product, we're looking to hire out of our Vancouver tech hub that we're building right now. But I think that's the biggest challenge for us right now. I have roles on the executive side that I'm working on that really feel like a bit of a cakewalk compared to data and software engineering. But we'll get there. So
yeah, definitely data engineers. They're it's always, for me, it's always what data sets have you been utilizing, and it's usually a pretty wide gap from super large to nascent, small. And data is data, but sometimes, especially in blockchain, is it relevant or not? Yeah,
For sure. So it sounds like 2023 is going to be a big year for you guys. Are you able to share any projections on hires or kind of what you're looking for to get people excited?
Yeah, next year is going to be pretty exciting. We have been hiring ever since this crypto winter began. We're continuing to hire, and next year is no different. There is a lot of building to do, so I think there are things that I can't disclose yet, but on our product roadmap, there's a couple of really exciting things that we're going to be launching in Q1 and Q2. What else can I say to get people excited? I think, at the end of the day, I think now is really the time to join because, we are, again, compared to most of our other peers and competitors that have either laid off, a significant amount of their staff or are no longer with us. We are continuing to chug along and execute on our roadmap again, everything for us right now is about working towards being a public ready company, and that's a lot of work to do. And then until we do that, there's a lot of things we need to get right and build and continue to sort of beef up the foundation. Now is definitely the exciting time to be part of the journey. So
you love a few milestones on the roadmap to get engineers and product people. That's the people I know that they love to ship or be a part of. Especially you hear, oh, here's this new initiative, here's this new product. That'll get people excited for sure. Yeah. Alex, you got anything else?
If you're open to talking about it, don't feel pressure. I think the one thing I'm curious about, because it was something that I kind of thought of as I was looking for companies in crypto, and Binance checked the box, kind of the like founder-led aspects, kind of crypto figurehead almost. CZ, obviously Binance US, Binance.com, separate entities, but I feel like a lot of people see him as a strong figure that they want to work for. Does that come into play? Have you heard that maybe from candidates? And then how much of that translates from his leadership to US, I guess?
I think to an extent, yes. Although I think most people understand that we are, two completely separate entities. There is, we license the brand, the technology from Binance.com. And so, there is an overlap in that sense. With CZ, he is the chairman of our board. and our largest investor in a personal capacity. So, is he involved in the day-to-day running of the company? Not at all. But I think the Binance brand is obviously it is who we are, as a company, and I know that CZ, obviously there is involvement from him, and from a very high level. But I think people are excited by the Binance brand. Not specifically, when they come to and work here or interview for us, a couple of times it's been like, well, a big CZ fan, so whatever, I kind of want to work here. That doesn't happen as often because I think most people do understand the distinction between the two. But they're just big fans of the brand to begin with, and that's a testament to what CZ has been able to build, since 2017. And whenever I say that date, I'm just like, it's crazy to think that it just literally started, less than 5 years ago, and look where it is right now. And so it's a factor, albeit a small factor, but again, the brand speaks volumes. So
definitely, yeah. I gotta say, I think Binance US and .com have the best memes and Twitter contact and stuff like that. It's great, right? Like you said, it's people follow the brand and they're excited to be a part of that. Like, I know for every company I work for, I want to connect, and it's good to hear you guys are valuing that and are continuing to build. To wrap it up, if candidates are interested, how should they be applying? We'll obviously put some links up in the recording afterwards, but if you can just share, kind of helpful tips and tricks to get their apps to you guys,
sure,
that'd be awesome.
The easiest is honestly just to apply through our jobs portal. We have all the open roles there, and even though we have a lot of inbound, every candidate gets every CV that gets sent through is looked at by a real human, not so a real recruiter. So that is going to be the best way to get through to us.
Awesome. Well, we'll include the links. But again, Rolando, thank you for joining. Excited to see the progress of Binance, followed along from the sides. I'm sure connect again. Brad, thanks for helping me co-host. Again, Recruiting-ish podcast. Feel free to follow, like, and subscribe on all major platforms. This recording should be out soon. But we'll see you guys later, and see you on episode 6.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys. Bye.